right, we'll go ahead and start again. Welcome, everybody. My name is Sean Simons, PPG Grandpa. Welcome to PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, clearproptv.com, and paratalk.org. We got a bunch of people in the chat. Welcome, John Wayne, Care PPG, Jim Senard, Jennifer Shermick. We got Bill H in the house, Travis G, Flying Flamingo, Mark McElroy from ParaLifePPG.com. Make sure you go check him out. Flying Flamingo, Jay, John Wayne. Everyone is here. We're going to be getting some more people popping in here in just a moment. So welcome, everybody. As always, we usually say hello to everybody here on the panel, and then we go to our guest, which is Colin Hubbard tonight. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody in the on the panel. Jim Senard from Canada, the only person I know that has maple syrup smelling money. How you doing, buddy?
Doing really well. Thank you very much.
Awesome. It's cold up there in Canada. Have you got any more flights in since the last time we talked?
No, sir, I haven't. It's been really windy. The wind comes through and takes the snow away, hopefully.
Hopefully. And it's really hot there now, right? It's up to 36 degrees Fahrenheit?
Exactly. It's sweltering.
That is the sweat. Oh, too much. Well, I'm glad that you're here. You also have a print company, and you help us take care of Paramotor calendars, and you print up everything that you want to, anything that anybody needs, and we can find you over at carepp.com, or we can watch your shenanigans flying around and having a good time at careppg.com. So thank you, Jim, so much for being with us tonight. We also got ParaMomUSA.com, our very own Linda Anderson. If you want to be on the show, you just get up with USA.com, forwards over to her Facebook page, and she will hook you up, and you can be on our show. Or I guess you can be on our show if you want to. How many people have you? You got this whole month hooked up, next month hooked up? You got a lot of books for us.
Yeah, next month is booked. It's booked, baby. I got it going. I tell you what. I'm super excited.
Thank you so much for taking care of us. You're our PR girl, and you also got a famous son that does a podcast on Thursday nights. Who's this guy?
Right. That's Robert Michaels. He does paraglidingtalk.com on Thursday night. It's an awesome place to be. We have a lot of fun on there, a lot of chatters, everything, and you never know what guest is going to show up, and it's good. We have a good time. But welcome, my chatters and viewers. Welcome tonight, Monday night. Welcome, Colin. So happy to have you here tonight. It's going to be a great show. Thank you, guys. Amazing.
And thank you again, Linda Anderson. Like I said, if you want to be on our show, just get up with Linda. Go to ParaMomUSA.com and say, hey, what's up? We also got Flying Flamingo Jade in the house. What's up, girl?
Hi, everyone. This week on Wednesdays, Girls Just Want to Fly, we've got Priscilla Ant. I've been chatting with her throughout the week. She is right now currently in a nursing job down in Houston, Texas. She's from Rome, Italy originally, and she's a speed flyer, a paraglider, a skydiver, a wingsuit flyer. And she's going to be awesome to talk to. She sounds like she's got a lot of energy also, and she's going to be good for our show this week. So hopefully you guys can join in at Girls Just Want to Fly at Paramotor, paramotorgirl.com.
Awesome. Wednesday night, 7 p.m., guys.
Yep.
And we also got Will Fly, willflyppg.com, our very own Will Fly. I think he's driving home right now. I don't know if his audio is good, but welcome to the show. I'm glad you could make it, bud.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. You caught me doing what I love most. I was up in the sky flying, and the time, I don't know what happened, but it just melted away.
I will say, you know what? If you're flying, don't worry about being on the panel that night. Just go fly and have fun. I mean, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about flying. You get to fly. We would rather be flying, but here we are on the show. So thank you very much for being on the show. If you guys have not gone over to his channel, go to willflyppg.com. Amazing videos. Have you done a video lately, Will? I think we're losing him. So, Will, thank you very much for being on the panel. We appreciate you, buddy. We also got Jerry Fly. He's hanging out with us tonight on the panel. How you doing, bud? He's on mute.
Doing great, doing great. How about you?
Doing absolutely amazing. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. And
Definitely.
definitely ask Colin some questions if you want to. So that's our panel, but it's not about me. It's not about the panel. It's about our guest tonight, Colin Hubbard. Amazing pilot. Has been flying since 2017. He has gone on some amazing adventures, and hopefully we'll be able to really pick his brain when it comes to long distance XCs tonight. Colin Hubbard, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, buddy. So for those of you out there that do not know Colin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into paramotoring?
Well, I'm just like everybody else. Tucker Gott personally invited me into the sport with his McDonald's video. Actually, I was a sport pilot. I've got an airplane sitting in my garage, and I was in a car accident and destroyed my hips and couldn't press the rudder pedals anymore. And so just like anybody else who does this and gets the flying bug, when you're stuck on the ground, I don't know if YouTube was helping or hurting me psychologically, but when I saw Tucker Gott, I decided I was going to try that. And so I did that. I drove down to about 3 hours away to Paramotor City, and my instructor was Kirk Moser. And that's a place that Eric Dufour taught like years and years ago. And luckily, I was able to do it without having too much pain in my hips. And so I got done with my training in about a week and came back up to Taos and started flying. And, you know, one of the first things, Kirk's wife is also Sue Moser, is also an instructor. And the first thing she said is, don't fly in the Rio Grande Gorge. It only took me a couple months before I got enough courage to even fly over it. And then eventually I worked my way down into it and have developed a safe way to do it, or as the safest possible way. Nothing is without risk. And I've really learned, you know, where the outs are in a place that looks absolutely horrible for any kind of outs. And then
A movie too. So the movie was Rio Grande Air, and you can watch it on IMDB. Matter of fact, we have the links down below. We got his YouTube, his Facebook, everything's down below, including the IMDB link, and you can watch the movie that he was in. It was absolutely amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that movie and that amazing adventure that you took?
So one of my first students was friends with some paramotor pilots that are in Santa Fe, a little bit south of me. And one of them is Jean-Francois Chabot, that everybody knows from his 6,000 miles adventure. And he was the lead pilot for the Rio Grande paramotor adventure. And I just got kind of lucky in the fact that I had gotten a lot of experience flying this section of the river, and I got invited to at least fly with the guys from the start of it down to my section, and then I couldn't not just continue on. It was so much fun. All these guys are incredible people. And the fact that they were, you know, doing some high-end filming, and it was kind of like it felt like a reality show when, you know, you'd land and some guy would come up with all this camera gear and just be in your face. How was your flight? And, you know, it was exciting. It really wore me out. it's a lot harder than people think to try to fly 10 hours a day, which was, I wouldn't say that was the average. The average might have been a little bit less, but when we had good weather, it was, about 5 hours in the morning and 5 hours in the evening.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. This last weekend, we flew for like 3 hours, and we were so sore for flying for 3 hours. Two different treks and stuff were about an hour and a half each, and we were just wore out. So, I mean, now this was about a 2-week project that you guys did, and you flew, in the morning. I think that I even saw you flying midday, flying in the evenings. You had a couple of bad weather times, but all in all, you had a long, long trip. How much stamina do you need to be able to be in a paramotor for that long, that many hours every day?
Well, I've had a previous experience as an athlete, amateur. So I was in really good shape for the majority of my life, and I think that's what enabled me to be able to do this. Nobody was being forced. Anybody could, sit out a leg if they wanted to, but for me, I felt like I wanted that challenge. And so I flew every leg possible, which was, I guess, a little bit over 1,000 miles of the 1,600.
You flew 1,000 miles in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Nick Griffith said, stamina, you say? Try Flyagra. That is absolutely incredible. Mark Emerson says, do you pee from the paramotor? So how do you take potty breaks, I guess?
Stopping for fuel. I wasn't like Kyle O'Glee and gonna put the catheter in or anything, or try to do some aerial stuff. No. Every time we would drop down for fuel, I would definitely take a break. But you get so excited and the adrenaline flowing. Sometimes you're peeing multiple times and it's just fake. It's just your body being adrenalized.
Now, there's a couple of places on the film that you went over, and I forgot where it was. It was at No Man's Land. You flew over it, and there's no way they could get you out. What part of that was it that you flew over where there was no outs for miles?
That was a section after Big Bend National Park. There's an entire mountain range that, I mean, it's I was so scared the whole time. Of all the pilots, I think I probably flew higher than anybody else all the time. Just for the fear that if, something happened, I wanted a lot of time to make decisions. And then someone crashed in that section and had to be rescued by Border Patrol. And that was after him being on the ground with no cell phone service on the side of a really rocky, horrible mountain, where he made his way down the mountain. And then they have the Border Patrol saw him and was like, what is this guy doing? And then they realized that he wasn't a border crosser and gave him a ride back to us. And then we got some farmer whose son had a helicopter to retrieve his trike.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that the Border Patrol was like this. This was the first guy that actually ran to him instead of away from the Border Patrol.
Yeah.
Which was He also was out there stuck and stranded, and he did a selfie saying, "I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and this is the new show, Naked and Not Afraid, Paramotor version." That was really funny too. It was a really good movie. It's about an hour, and I put the link down below. So after this podcast, you guys got to watch it. It's really amazing. So, any questions in the chat that I didn't see, or any questions from the panel here, guys? For Colin?
Deweese's got a question. What kind of equipment do you use, Colin?
So on that trip, I was flying a Nitro 200, a direct drive, not with a clutch, and a Mac Para Colorado 21 meter, which was really hard to launch at 9,000 feet. Where we started at the headwaters of the Rio Grande.
And what is your all-up weight?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a big guy, so I'm about 170. I don't know what my all-up weight is, but I'm 170.
And you have a Nitro 200. So, and does that hold the 5 gallons, or did you have to have a bladder with you, or how did that work as far as gas?
I think it's 11.4 liters, and then I had a 4 liter or 6 liter drum bag that we converted to whole fuel, and then that was linked right up because the total wouldn't go over 5 gallons, so we could have it mainlined, and then when it would come time to put fuel back in your gas tank, you just flip a valve and hold the thing up and help it drain out.
I saw that you started getting into some rain and some bad weather, and you popped up above the clouds, and it was absolutely beautiful, no turbulence or anything, but it was raining below. Mark Emerson in the chat says, "Have you ever flown in the rain?"
Yes. Not heavy rain, just sprinkling and enough to make you start looking for an out to get down. I've also flown in the snow, and that's actually really surreal.
Awesome. Looks like Travis D in the chat said, "What kind of seat do you use?" I guess what kind of harness?
Okay, so it was the standard. God, I'm trying to remember the name of the harness that Air Conception uses, but it's quite large with a big seat board. So I had tons of room in it. So it was very, very comfortable. And I had room on the sides of the seat, and would put snacks in the seat. You know, when you're up in the air for that long, it's like you want to take a food and something to drink for sure.
Yeah, speaking about drink, how much, I guess you took water with you. How much water did you take with you, knowing that it's very possible that you could land out in a place that was non-retrievable for possibly a day or two? So did you actually bring water and food? And if so, how much water and food did you bring?
Just a little bit, probably not enough, but knowing that we were, supported by all these vehicles, and we were constantly being tracked, so that, when you disappeared off the tracking, they would have a really good idea of approximately where you were. So, I think if I was doing something unsupported, the route would have changed, the amount of water and everything else that I would have taken would have increased for sure.
Interesting. Any other questions in the chat or on the panel?
Yeah, can you hear me, Sean?
Oh, hey, Will Fly. Yes.
Hey, yeah. So, what other any other special survival gear, or like first aid kits, or anything that maybe you wouldn't normally take with you on a regular flight?
At the time that I did this, I probably had not enough experience to know everything I should have taken. So I probably went up with a lot less than I should have. And knowing that the other pilots, having a chase crew, I really recommend that people do supported cross countries, especially of this magnitude, before they tried to do something unsupported, where you would need to carry all of that for your own self-rescue.
Absolutely. And for the people that don't know, where did you start and where did you end up?
So the closest, it's not really a city, but the closest little town up in Colorado is called Creed. And from there, you would go back up in these valleys to the headwater, which was horrendous. We launched from 9,000 feet, about, I guess, 15 to 20 miles northwest of Creed, and then started headed towards, the first day was supposed to be go to the headwaters from the LZ, come back, and then pass our LZ and continue on to the Creed airport. But when everybody started to go up to the very headwaters, it was really turbulent. That was the only time in the whole trip that I suffered collapses, because you just couldn't get there without this section of where you were leeward to these big mountains. And so I turned around. And the one other pilot that made it a little bit farther than me, he also turned around. He made it pretty close to the headwaters, probably within visual sight of it. I didn't quite make it that far.
So you said that you had collapses. Are you, before this happened, did you take like an SIV class, or were you experienced enough to understand what to do when you do take a collapse, or have you ever taken collapse in the past before this flight?
No, I hadn't taken an SIV, but my majority of my experiences was flying in high altitude in Taos, New Mexico, and dealing with a lot of these mountain desert thermal conditions. So I had dealt with collapses quite a bit before. I mean, I say quite a bit, but it only takes one time to really scare you and you're like, whoa, that's an experience. The other thing, I was never just gonna fly straight and level kind of guy. So I had already been, pushing it with wingovers and steeper maneuvers, and had forced collapses doing that before. But having the confidence in the wing and knowing that at that point in time, when I first started, I was on a Charger, and those things open back up so fast from a collapse. It's just enough time for you to look at it, see it, take a gasp, and then realize you're safe again. The Colorado was the same way. The wing I fly now sometimes it takes a little bit of help to get it to open back up, which is a Mac Para Samurai. So
Sounds like you did your own SIV courses. You trained yourself.
But I really flew so many hours, before I did this, that I had probably experienced a more variety of condition than a lot of people.
Interesting. Anybody in the in the chat have any more questions? Anybody in on the panel can check to see if there's any.
Luis is asking, was it a camp and fly or motels or airports, or where did you stay?
So for me, I started off sleeping in the back of a little 5x8 trailer. I had a driver driving my vehicle with the trailer. So that's certainly not a cushy place to be sleeping, and it was cold. It was cold up there in the mountains still. But at some point, I left my vehicle back at I left mine in Taos and hopped aboard someone's nice giant Class A and slept in good comfort for the whole rest of the trip.
That's good. It looks like we also had another question from Mark Emerson. What is your quick pre-flight check? Since you fly hard, what do you look for?
Everything. Really, really everything. And probably the most important thing is before I leave an LZ, I really check out the condition of the motor. I test it. I try to make it quit. I try to, make sure that, I test doing maneuvers, checking out my wing. Certainly before you take off, you should believe everything you've got 100%. And I mean everything, every line, every part of the risers, every bit of your frame, playing around with the motor. I've been very, very fortunate in the amount of the motor outs that I've had seems quite low compared to what I hear some other people have had, with some of the troubles with their motors. So I did have one out while I was flying over the interstate between Santa Fe and Albuquerque, and ended up landing out on the far side. And what had happened was the little C-clip that holds the pin and the throttle cable had come out. So my motor was running, but I had no throttle. So I just landed, and all these farms and stuff out here, I landed in a cow field. I say field, rocks and dirt. Managed to find a piece of baling wire, fixed it with the baling wire, and took off again. The whole crew had thought that, that I was down and going to be picked up by a vehicle. But no, I got back up in the air and did that whole leg by myself, which was kind of cool. Navigating, it's easy to do across country when you've got that lead pilot out in front of you all the time. You keep your eye on him, and that's how I did a lot of it, was following Jean-Francois. But in this section, I got to navigate on my own, and that was really cool.
So you fixed your throttle with bale wire that you found in a cow field. I guess the question is, what tools did you bring so you could do such a thing?
So I did have the vehicle arrive to pick me up, and they had a tool.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
I think I would have been able to fix it just with, these small little pliers, the multi-tool that I had. But it kind of helped to have a hard needle nose pliers to make it a little bit safer, so it didn't get messed up again.
So one of our Wisconsin boys is asking, What are your thoughts right before you launch in a less than ideal launching area? What do you say to yourself to get into the zone?
You know, I see a lot of people and, they, taking off from a short field is a big high pressure situation, and you cannot let that get in your head at all. It's better that you walk it. You have enough experience to know what you need as far as length, in those conditions. And so, luckily, I trained myself for short field takeoffs, and part of cross country is being in the air and picking not a good place just to land, but a good place to take off. And that's what'll make you better on a cross country, is to, don't be so anxious to land. Do flybys on the area you think you're going to drop down on. But yeah, I don't let it get in my head, and if it seems like my mind is getting wound about a takeoff, I go smell the flowers. I'd go do something that you cannot let that affect you. You get some object attraction, and before you know it, you're running into someone's car or into a tree. Fortunately, never done that.
Yeah, don't want to run into a tree. Bill H wants to know if you're going to be able to fly in because he wants to meet you. So are you planning on being on at any fly-ins this year?
Usually the closest one to me is Endless Foot Drag, so I always try to go to that. I'd love to just be able to take off and go to the fly-ins everywhere, Bad Apples, and go back east. I'm from Georgia originally, so I like it out here. No mosquitoes, no humidity, and a lot of good flying days. But definitely, I'll be at Endless Foot Drag this year.
That sounds awesome. Tony Marzano in the chat wants to know, do you carry any duct tape with you?
Absolutely, duct tape always. Not a lot. I usually take about a roll that's got half of it off and smash it so that it's tight in a side bag, along with the multi-tool. Couple other things that you need to just, if you needed to change a spark plug or do some other minor things with your carburetor, tiny screwdrivers. But, that can add up in weight if you have a big tool pack.
Yeah, so it sounds like you don't carry a lot of tools that will weigh you down. Do you carry a reserve? If you do, how many and what kind is it?
Usually just one. If you're doing, all day flying and you're really concerned about it, I think that it's good to have two reserves. I didn't have two reserves on this trip. But it's going to add a decision in the midst of that, because, it's in certain circumstances, if you were really falling out of the air and you have that wing flapping around, which one are you going to go for first? Which one's going to be clear enough for you to get? I personally think, I like to have a steerable on my lap, and I like to fly the wing that's already open. That's the safest.
Right now with the steerable, or is it round?
No, it was one of the Regalo type. I mainly got that because up here, if I, had to throw it and I was flying over the gorge, which is 800 feet deep, I think, or something, I'd want to be able to steer myself up onto the top and not be forced to just go wherever the wind took me down into it. So I'm a proponent for steerable reserves. And then to have the small round on the side, which would be, a real, things are effed up, back up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got myself one of those beamers that are steerable only because, where I live and where I fly, 9 times out of 10, there's you got the Arkansas River, you got mountains, trees, power lines, all sorts of obstacles that I would like to avoid. And since our, in our sport, the number one way that we die is drowning, I want to be able to steer away from, the rivers and lakes and stuff that we have over here. And definitely do wear a personal flotation device also when I fly in that area. Obviously out where you were flying the Rio, and being around all that water, did you have some sort of personal flotation device or have some sort of flotation on your paramotor?
No, at that time I didn't. It was kind of one of those instances where when I figured out I was going to do this trip, I immediately ordered the Mac Para Colorado because I would not be able to keep up with the group on a Charger. And I just barely got the wing in time to do the trip. And I didn't end up buying any additional equipment. I'm only really over water such a small percentage of time in my normal flying. So I didn't have one. And I highly recommend it, So I'm not a proponent of skimping on safety equipment. It just ended up turning out that way.
So you had your original wing and just for this trip, so you have a total of 2 wings, right?
Yeah, at that time. I actually had 3 wings. I also had an 18-meter GTR. That's not really, I don't think, a cross-country wing for me at that weight.
Interesting. All right, panel, any questions from the panel? Yes, Jim?
Yeah, I was wondering what size charger you had.
It was a 25.
Okay. Do you find that the other one is much faster?
Well, I think right now, the charger, the 25-meter charger for me, and when I first started out, I was between 155 and 160, and then I've gained 10 pounds. But when I was flying that charger, it was very floaty, and I had a hard time penetrating some of the winds up in northern New Mexico. So I really wanted to get a smaller wing, and the 21-meter Colorado was a pretty big bump in speed. So I think it was the right choice. It was difficult launching at 9,000 feet. But by the time I got down to lower elevations, it was perfect. If I was going to pick a beginner wing for myself now, I think I would have started out maybe on a 23-meter Charger, and especially now with the Charger 2 and the trim range that it has.
Did you fly with the speed bar by any chance?
It kind of messes with my hips.
Okay.
So that was part of the reason that I didn't get a 23-meter Colorado, and went down to the 21, was just to have enough speed without having to have the speed bar.
Gotcha. So something with a long trim range that could help you penetrate the wind if you need to. Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely. And putting yourself a little heavy on it.
Interesting. All right. Any questions in the chat or on the panel for Colin?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, Colin, you were talking about field selection. Could you expound on that just a little bit? Like, what are the things specifically you're looking for when you're trying to pick a field to land in?
So, the scariest thing for cross countries to me is in a place that you've never been, especially if it's, bordering more rural areas, is power lines. So, I wouldn't do low passes. I would do high passes, specifically looking for the power lines, and then come down still, more like treetops, but higher than possible power lines. Again, I don't have really good eyes. So, a little extra time for caution on my part is a really smart thing. So I get down a little closer where I can see, and then I do a third pass where I'm really looking at what's happening with the wind. And in the process of doing those circles, I'm gauging my speeds and really lining it up so that the wind is doing the best thing it can for me. And then, prior to this, training yourself to know what your run out is in a variety of conditions. As a lot of people try to plop it down in the middle of the field and they end up next to the trees. And right before they get there, the wind gets crazy because they're obviously heading into the leeward of the trees. So, training yourself to, drop in the first 20% of the area that you think you're going to land in will make you a better cross-country spot lander.
Awesome.
During your trip, your 2-week trip on this 1,600-mile trek, did you guys end up with any injuries or mishaps from the other paramotor pilots or yourself?
So, day one, the whole group was flying in the canyon in between, our original LZ and Creed, and it's phenomenally beautiful, very distracting, how beautiful it is. So everyone's cruising along. My partner had taken a hard time getting up in the air. 9,000 feet's a tough launch. My first attempt to launch, the wind was squirrely. I failed in inflation. And then I had a good inflation, but we didn't have the right wind. And I literally ran 75 yards and then just dropped the wing because I was going to run into a fence. So once everybody got up and we started heading out, we didn't have cell phone service. So we were all on radios. And my flying buddy, we went around a bend, following the river, and we got cell phone service. And I don't know if his radio was spotty or whatever, but he went to check his phone. And he did it with his throttle hand. I'm not sure if he rested his throttle and then grabbed the phone. But right when he did that, he was flying low, looked up, power lines. And the only thing he could do in a split instance was to pull on the brake that he did have to try to do a turn. But with no throttle, he dropped altitude and ran into the embankment and shattered his pelvis, broke his femur, amongst other things. And yeah, it was very sobering that happened. Fortunately, one of my instructors, Sue Moser, was a retired nurse, and she was flying that leg. She immediately landed. One of my students, who's a firefighter and a paramedic, and was being in support on the trip, he got there. They kind of got him stabilized, and then got an ambulance out of Creed to come get him. But that was a wake-up call for sure. And I think for the rest of the trip, I think every pilot was just keeping their mind, on the task at hand. From there on out, I think we all were just getting beat up a little bit just by the conditions. Sometimes we're landing in these really rough, bumpy ground. So the opportunity to just do this nice, perfect foot drag landing, was more like running into speed bumps. So fortunately, I didn't have any bad snafus on landings. There were a few guys had some messed up inflations and face plant, but mostly just, injured that ego a little bit. And the gentleman who later passed Big Bend Park, Boris, the one who landed out in the mountains, because he had a crack and had a crack in his exhaust and lost power, and then just gradually went down into it. I don't think his motor completely died until impact, but he managed to land the first time sort of in a dry creek bed. And then at that point, he's like, well, he tried to take off again, and he managed to get back up, but he just could not get the altitude that he needed to clear these mountains, and ended up crashing again. And fortunately, he didn't get injured in that whole process. And then the only other injury happened to Jean-Francois. Towards the end of the trip, we were in this section where we kind of didn't have any place to land except a road. And coming down, there was enough trees to make the wind a little bit squirrely, and he kind of lost some altitude in the last 10 feet. And when he landed, his frame smacked into his ankle and fractured it. But other than that, that's mainly bruises, bruises from your swing arms hitting you, just getting all black and blue. And, I had hit my frame with my feet once or twice. So, I had little cuts and bruises on the back of my heel. The air conception has a kind of a pointy thing on the front of the base of the frame, in front of the gas tank, and hitting that thing, it was sharp. It kind of made me hobble for probably 2 days on taking off, but that was it. I think we got very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
With that many pilots and that many miles.
Absolutely. I know that at the very last part of the movie, was it John's Francois? He landed kind of crooked. Did he break his foot, or just was it just sprained?
No, it fractured.
Oh my goodness!
If it was just a sprain, he's a tough guy. I mean, that guy did the wind kite surfing thing. I mean, I've seen pictures of him, up in the air on the end of a single or two-liner string, 40 feet up in the air over water. He's a badass, and he would have kept going if he could, but his frame, smacked his ankle hard enough to fracture it, and it was just swelling up like crazy, and there was no way he could walk on it.
I remember somebody having a slight mishap and chipped their prop or something and tried to fix it. I don't remember them saying anything about they did fix it. Do you remember what happened as far as the broken prop?
No, I don't. That escapes me. But the good thing about having chase crews with tons of gear and other pilots is that if you have a problem, there's a lot of people to help you find a solution. And super glue and baking soda is amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. Baking soda and super glue is absolutely amazing. I fixed many props like that. But of course, after I fix them and I use them for a little bit, I got to send them off to paramotorfans.com and have Rick Simmons actually fix it and balance it for me. But it seems like you had a really nice trip. I was wondering, anybody else in the panel have any questions for Colin, or was there any other questions that I missed in the chat? Jerry Fly, any questions for Colin? All right. Well, it sounds like you had a really good trip and you had an amazing adventure. I mean, 1,600 miles over the course of 2 weeks. The adventure must have been incredible. Before this, what was your longest, most incredible flight before this amazing thing that you did?
Wow. I had never really done any long distance flights. I think the most I'd ever been up in the air time wise was 2 hours. I always thought that it was kind of neat that I'm pretty close to the Colorado border, and to be able to fly interstate, to just go up an hour, fly an hour, and fly back, and having been to another state is kind of cool. The next really long one that I'd like to do the same way would be the Arkansas River, that starts out near Buena Vista, Colorado, in the mountains, sort of hooks down, goes through Pueblo, Colorado, and then heads towards the Mississippi. And then it kind of gets flat and river country, not so much mountains anymore. But I just thought that would be a really cool one, even if it was something that was a little less supported, because it looks like you'd be able to hit gas stations along the whole way.
Well, anywhere through Arkansas, let me know, and I'll meet you anywhere. I'll get gas for you for a refill, and I'll go fly with you too. I live in Arkansas, so I fly around the Arkansas River a lot. A lot of really nice places around me in central Arkansas and Conway in that area. So, speaking about that, how many states have you actually flown in? It seems like you've flown in a lot of states.
Let's see. California, Arizona. I haven't flown in Utah yet, which, that's an amazing destination. Colorado, Texas, New Mexico, technically Mexico on that trip. There was a lot of us. We were not supposed to be doing international flights, but more than once, I think we crossed over onto the Mexican side. But yeah, that's about it for me. Let's see, Kansas, Oklahoma. I really want to venture back to my home area, which is Georgia, and fly different places along the whole way. Even if it wasn't some monster cross country or state to state, just to stop off and visit people like in Arkansas or see what Jerry's up to in Georgia out there.
Oh, and I'd love to have you, man.
Yeah, I need to come back to Georgia for sure.
Definitely.
So there's some questions. People are asking, do you have any videos? Are you on social media that we can find you?
Yes. So you can find my school has a channel. Originally, the channel was called Experimental Test Pilot, mainly because I saw that as an outlook of how you should look at life, because life is experimental. It is a test, and you need to approach it like a pilot. And then I changed it to the name of my school, which is Rio Grande Paramotor.
And just so everybody knows, all the links are down below in the comments section, or not in the comments, but down below in the description. Guys, all of his stuff, including the movie Rio Grande Air that he was in, that came out in 2021. That description, that link is down there, and you can watch the movie for free on IMDb. I'm sorry, Colin, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I think I was done.
Okay.
But yeah, you can find me on YouTube with Rio Grande Paramotor. I mean, I credit that adventure with inspiring me to open up a school that's more dedicated to helping people learn to cross country. So hopefully in the future, I'm going to have an 80-acre flying park up in the San Luis Valley, which is closer to the headwaters, and help teach people how to do mountain flying and do these very specific cross country and even replicate the New Mexico part of the trip from Colorado down to the Elephant Butte Lake.
That's awesome. So we're almost at 8 o'clock. How long do we have you for?
As long as you want.
Okay, that's awesome. Do me a favor and let everybody know about your school, where it's located, the URL.com, so the website, maybe phone numbers, anything that you want to give out and give us more information. And then after that, we're going to go to the after show, where everybody that's out there can jump on here with us on Zoom and just have a great time talking about paramotors.
So right now, since I don't have a facility, I've been teaching out of airports, which is a little tough in the desert. They're not exactly those nice grassy infields like you get back east for sure. And I've got Rio Grande Paramotor Facebook page. You can get all my contact information on there, and then the Rio Grande Paramotor YouTube channel.
Awesome.
That's about it.
That was good. Well, I appreciate you so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to do the after show right now. We're going to continue to stream this live. And for all of you that are listening to us on paratalk.org or your favorite podcasting app, we're going to continue to do this. It's going to be a little bit less formal. We're going to allow some people to join us if they want to, that are listening to us, that are participating in the super chat. And there it is. It's in the super chat. Join us here on Zoom. The meeting ID and passcode is there. You're going to go wait in a room until I allow you to jump on. And let's just jump on and talk about paramotors. Anything on the panel that you'd like to talk about to Colin before we let everybody jump on?
Colin, I do have a question. So you said you were on a Nitro 200 when you did that trip, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what size gas tank did you use?
So I
And did you-
believe the stock tank's 11.4 liters.
Do you know about roughly how many miles you got out of that? Like, I guess you would say, and like before you had to refuel.
So we did one leg where everyone was just going to go till they ran out of fuel, and we were going to see whose setup worked the best. And I believe I was second longest on that. And the only other person that went farther than me also went off track and had to get picked up by a vehicle. But I landed in the perfect spot, and I didn't fill up all the way. I had a full gas tank, and then only filled up the 6-liter drum bag halfway. And it was more about, I think, not overweighting yourself in the beginning of the trip, because your first ascension after launch is going to be some of your biggest fuel burn. So, so I made it about, I think, generally we were trying to get, I think at most like 90 miles. And that's kind of difficult to get.
Did you go for miles or did you go for time the engine was on with the fuel? Because I know that it's different with, headwind, tailwind, and stuff like that. So were you just going for the most amount of time the prop spun, or actual miles when you were doing this test run?
Miles.
Miles, okay.
It was kind of like just a race to see who would land farthest down our track.
That's pretty cool. And since you guys were launching at 7,000 and 8,000 feet above sea level, when you took off and you were trying to get altitude, were you going full throttle, or were you trying to ease up to a particular altitude to save fuel?
So when we did that run, we were in lower altitude. We were down in Middle Texas. So we were probably launching and landing under 1,000 foot from sea level. And, I didn't pay too much attention to trying to baby the throttle. It was just trying to get up to a good altitude for level flight. And then knowing that, I would kind of let myself maybe drift a little bit in a descent. I mean, sometimes I think about how the airliners do it, and they will go up to a particular altitude, peak, and then they're in a descent pattern for that airport across 5 states. So that's kind of like the method that I tried to do, was to get close to my max altitude and then just gradually let myself lose altitude over time. And I would say probably from 3,000 to 4,000 feet AGL down to, maybe 2,000. And, then I would bring myself back up, and I would try to do it paying attention to the wind, because, the direction that we were going was not directly into the wind. The majority of that was a slight crosswind. So when I would try to re-elevate, I would let myself go off track a little bit and make that ascension as fast as possible. Not like do that slowly. Just get back up in one little sort of circle and then get back on my line.
Now, you said that you went in a circle. I know that the apps like PVGPS and Fly Sky High have the ability to show you which way the wind is blowing and at what speed. If you take yourself in a big circle, you'll be able to calculate your wind direction. Now, I think that's only if you have cell phone signal. I don't know, but do you use any type of apps? And if you do, what kind of apps do you use?
I usually use the ground track. It feels like it's the most accurate way to me, because in the circumstance, forecasts aren't necessarily always right, and between the different gradients that you're encountering, sometimes it's just not as accurate as the conditions that you are monitoring right there.
So is it an app, or do you have like a dedicated instrument that shows your ground tracking speed?
My eyeballs.
Oh, okay.
Doing the circle, looking at the ground, the same way you do it in an airplane.
Gotcha. All right, good deal. Will Fly posted a question from Tony. If you want to go ahead and ask that, Will. And don't forget that you're on mute.
Yeah, sure. Tony Marzano wants to know what your glide ratio was or is. I guess depending on which wing, right?
Yeah, that's a tough question, I think, because a lot of times, you've got the variable of the wind, how thin the air is, depending on what altitude you're launching at or flying at, and not to sound simplistic, but we fly and we don't want to overcomplicate everything in your brain sometimes. So the simplest way to get the data that you need while you're in the flight is, usually what I choose to do. And so, I mean, I think a lot of these wings are made in such a way that they're the technology, they all have really good glide, and it's going to depend on how heavy you're loading them.
Yeah, it sounds like a question that's kind of difficult because your glide ratio would probably be different at sea level rather than trying to glide at 8,000 feet MSL.
I mean, one of the strange things too is, glide ratio can assist in your fuel efficiency, but it's so crazy that the higher in altitude you go, then the less fuel you need in the mix. But because the air is thinner, it also means that you need more rotations of that prop to give you the push. And as crazy as it sounds, from Salton Sea, below sea level, to where I'm at, 7,000, the burn, the fuel burn was comparable.
Hey, Colin?
Yeah.
Did you have to tweak your carb at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
At
Definitely.
any point? Like, how many times did you have to do it? Like different elevation changes, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is, as you're going down on your cross country and getting lower and lower and lower, you're just making just the little bit of the adjustment, on the ground to help it make it run a little bit better. It's easier, believe it or not, to do this type of thing from a higher altitude going to a lower altitude. If you were doing the reverse of that, where you want to be leaning it out as you fly higher and higher in altitude, you're running more of the risk of, running it too lean and overheating the engine. But it wasn't really that. It's not really that hard as long as you're paying attention to your operating temperatures so you don't overdo it. But they were very minor changes. These paramotors are so awesome with regard to the range from what would be their low altitude to their high altitude window. I would venture to say it's 10,000 feet.
So if you're taking off at 8,000 feet, and what is your altitude AGL for a total of what's the highest that you were MSL?
So when I launched from my LZ here, it's 7,091 feet. When I get up to 17,000 feet, it's like I hit a ceiling. It will not go higher. But you get 10,000 feet out of it. You know, obviously performance for me, you know, starts to really drop off in the last 1,500 to 2,000 feet is where you really notice, hey man, I'm losing power. So I wouldn't venture that a lot of people need to be playing around with their mix specifically for the altitude on any one flight. What you set it at the ground will, for the most part, you know, get you good performance for as high as you want to go. And unless you're down there at sea level and you're trying to go up to the limit. And like, I guess, I saw one of the videos Chucky did where he went to 17.5, but I don't remember what his starting, his LZ's altitude was.
You know, I was just thinking too that having a paramotor with EFI on it would probably be really good if you're going to be going through this type of 2-week trek. You know, going from 1,000 feet up to 1,000 feet. What MSL, right? When you launched originally, and then you ended up at almost 8,000 MSL, or at MSL. You know, 8,000. Feet, you know, launching at MSL, going up to what, 2,000 feet or something like that, or 3 or 4. I mean, that type of elevation difference would probably be really cool, having a EFI electronic fuel injector for your paramotor.
Yeah, if you could get EFI on a 2-stroke, but the moment you put a 4-stroke on there, you're also going to deal with more weight. So I think if you were, you know, flying a trike and didn't have that so much to worry about, you know, then that EFI would be the only way to go. But I'm anxious to see, and hopefully in the future, test fly the EFI system on a 2-stroke.
Yeah, I know that they had them out, and they were. I remember watching the Aviator show back in the day when they were doing their weekly podcast, and they were talking about the EFI that they're putting on their machines, and it worked amazing. So I don't have one, and I saw one of your guys that you were flying with in the movie had a trike. Was he flying just a regular 2-stroke with a carb, or did he? Was it okay?
Yeah, it was a light trike, so it was pretty much I'm pretty sure it was like foot launch size motor. And, you know, that's the one that the exhaust cracked on. And then, you know, he couldn't get out of the mountains there. So I bet in that moment, he wishes he would have had more of like the heavy trike motors rather than just a wheeled foot launch unit.
Absolutely. Anybody on the panel have any other questions? I don't want to be holding you guys back. I know that Will Fly posted here in our Zoom chat. There Will Fly is. Will Fly, do you want to go ahead and ask that question that Tony posted in the chat?
Yeah, Tony, we just wanted to know if you have done any thermals. You turned the motor off and done any thermaling?
You know, where I'm at, it gets a little crazy. So as much as that looks really cool to me, I would still want to do an SIV, because now you'd be flying more like a paraglider. You've eliminated this, the constant of the thrust. And so you're paragliding overweight. So, me personally, I would rather do an SIV before I really got too deep into that. Even with just, if I was going to paraglide out here, I don't know. It's, there's only one mountain that I've ever seen anybody really paragliding off of. And it was one video and never saw, and wasn't real successful with it because the amount of the small thermals everywhere. So it's not like you're getting these really tight cones that you can use for lift. You're getting tossed around really hard until you find that right one. And that requires more experience than I have at this point.
Interesting. So you motor only, right? You don't do any paragliding?
No, haven't done any paragliding. I do like to go way up high and kill the motor. I love the silence, but I'm still usually doing that in the calmer, lower thermal times of the day.
Absolutely. Any other questions out there, or anybody on the panel want to ask any questions, or did I miss any in the super chat?
No, I think you got it all. I can say this though. That's something I've never done, is cut the motor off at altitude. I'm gonna do it as soon as I get electric start, because I don't have the shoulder strength sometimes to pull the cord. But yeah, I bet that's awesome.
You know what you could do, Will, is over your LZ, go, get yourself up to 5,000 feet and turn it off. That way you can land in your LZ. You don't have to restart.
That's true.
Yeah, that's literally how I trained to do it, was go up 4,000 feet and be within range of where I would have a landing, with the exception of the fact that I'm way high above it, and just do S-turns all the way down so that you're in striking distance of your LZ the whole time.
Tony Marzano said, have you ever thought about getting an EFI unit? Yeah, I think we just talked about it. You do want to get an EFI unit eventually, right? Or at least fly one.
Yeah, definitely. The fly-ins present a great opportunity to meet people and try out new wings, new motors, new equipment. And I think I wanted to maybe try it before I buy it.
It looks like somebody said that my meeting ID or passcode was not correct. So what I'll go ahead and do is copy the link itself. So all you have to do is hit the link and it will automatically open up the correct meeting ID and passcode. So I'm going to put the link that you can just click, one-click link, and meeting ID is already there.
Will's going to do a group screenshot.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
Because he's the awesomest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
now.
I'm lagging, so you'll have to give me a second for my thumb to come up.
Which side here? Oh,
Okay.
1, 2, and 3. Didn't do it, did it? Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. There it did it.
All right, good deal.
Thank you, Will.
All right.
Have
Yep.
fun. Yeah.
So how many people have actually gone up to a particular altitude, cut their motor off, and then just glided down? And if you did, how high did you go and cut off your motor? super chat, let us know in the super chat or jump on. Looks like Mark Emerson's going to be jumping on here in a minute, and maybe we can chat with him for a minute. So awesome. So anybody who's gone up to a particular altitude, cut off your motor, and just glided? I love to do that. Will said you didn't. Jerry, have you?
Yeah, I have. I honestly, I like doing it in the evenings. Like when we catch an evening flight, watching sunset. I love getting up high as possible and just looking at the sunset. Like, I mean, a lot of people get so mixed up in, like, I guess you could say, watching YouTube videos, wanting to flip, wanting to do acro, wanting to do all that craziness, and not actually just enjoy the flight, enjoy the view. Because, I mean, we all know that view is amazing. And that's why I love doing this. So, like, yeah, it's not the acro. It's nothing like that. It's the view, climbing up high, looking around at my surroundings, listening to the air. And plus, it's great practice, especially in emergency. So, yeah, definitely.
And the quiet seems to bond you with it in a way.
Absolutely. We see you, Mark, but you're on mute. What's up, bud? How you doing?
Am I unmuted? Is this working?
Got it now, bud.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is awesome. Good talk tonight.
Awesome. If you turn your phone sideways, we get to see you better.
I don't know if you want that. That might not be what you're going for.
Hey, can
I'm
we
hanging
get,
out here.
can we get one more
Nice-
screenshot?
Nice do, Mark.
Yeah, let's do one more
The
screenshot.
haircut.
Oh no!
One more,
Stop
one
it!
more screenshot. Go on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Good deal.
I forgot to take my glasses off, Will.
That's all right. Beautiful with your
Me too.
Fantastic,
Me
as
too,
always.
Linda. Me too.
I know, I hate that.
Actually, Nick is joining us too. So
Cool.
maybe we need to do another screenshot. I don't know.
I know. Let's bring them all on because I got to have, material here to put out there on Facebook when I promote the show, Grandpa.
Absolutely.
You know how I roll. You know what I do.
Definitely appreciate you. I please appreciate everyone out there, everyone that joins us every Monday night and listens to us, everybody out there that's listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, even Amazon Music. You can listen. Audible, you can go to Audible and search for us. So just search for PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, and you'll be able to listen to us for hours upon hours upon hours. This is season 3, episode 114. So we have so many hours on paramotors. It's ridiculous. What's up, Nick?
Yay. What's up, Nick? The Nickster in the house. With the little one.
Nick and the little one.
Yeah. And the little one.
I don't think that you're on. No, your microphone's not working. It's not popping up that your microphone is on. There he goes. He's connecting. All right. So we might be able to listen to him in a second. And who knows? Maybe we need another screenshot. We got PPG Lear, and we got somebody that's called iPhone Guest. I don't know who you are. I'm going to let you in. But if you're not somebody that, if you're a spam bot or something, I'm going to have to remove you. So I'm going to let you in real quick. I hope you're a real person, iPhone person.
I know, right? Like,
So-
who is this? It's going to be like, surprise!
Got your finger on the button.
Oh, it's John Wayne.
We'll let him in.
John Wayne, you
John
said,
Wayne.
Cowboy!
okay.
Cowboy in the house.
Will, you got to do another screenshot, another thumbnail for us.
All right.
And
Okay. Oh,
come on. And PPG Lear, we can't see you, buddy. So make sure you turn your pretty face on. Your wife is here, so pop
I
yourself.
thought he was looking pretty good tonight.
You're looking great. All we see is ppglear.com. Which
yeah.
don't know, PPGLear, Lear.com, does a Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. So make sure you go to PPG Lear.
Hey, I know that dude. He's pretty cool.
I seen that Eric's been flying up here in Wisconsin. He's been way more active than I have. Good for you, man. Winter flying is where it's at. But I've been
Okay, I
slacking.
just came on here so Wisconsin can dominate the show.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Awesome. Ready for a thumbnail? This is going to be a great thumbnail. Thank you guys for jumping on. One more for a thumbnail.
I love it.
1,
Gotta get my
2,
paramotor behind me.
3. All right.
Good deal. Thank you so much, bud.
All right.
You're the best. Phil.
Hey.
Phil's
like
like, Phil's like, what did I get myself
So-
into? I just, can you please just
Who
That's
is
funny,
all
Mark.
planning? Who's all planning on being at the Bad Apples flying this year?
I do.
I see one hand. Sean, can I get an eye? Colin, can we get?
When
can
is
we
it?
get
Is
commitment
it in
out of
May?
you?
When is it?
May 12th through the 15th.
Oh,
I'm gonna be
man.
at Port. It's hard to say Torchport at the end of
Eric,
May.
are we going down there?
flying. Yeah.
I'll swing by and pick you up, Mark.
Yeah, I would swing. Yeah, I'd have to stop by your place on the way down. I get an invite every year from people, and shoot, like it sucks missing it. Like that seems like a good spot to go flying.
It's
Oh,
awesome.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Mark,
So what is the
Mark,
ter-
close your
car
sign
pull
out
the
in the
gas
road
prices now.
there, Eric.
What is the terrain like down there? It's pretty hilly, Georgia area,
You're
right?
launching on a fairway is what it's like a golf course, a beautiful golf course. It's where I train from. It's wide open. It's just farmland. You get above the tree line, and it's just flat outs everywhere. There's a rock quarry we fly to. It's a great scenery, but I mean, the LZ is like, you ever seen the movie Field of Dreams, the baseball movie with Kevin Costner? Well, to me, this is the Field of Dreams for paramotoring. It's amazing LZ to launch
Wait,
from.
I think that that's already quoted. Somebody's got that. Field of
Oh,
Dreams
really?
is in Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Minus the corn.
Yeah. Yeah, last year they had peanuts. Yeah, it was peanuts growing last year, I believe.
Where in Georgia is it exactly?
It's in Andersonville. It's like, I guess you could say, Colin, in between Macon and Columbus, Georgia. It's out in the
Yeah,
country.
for me it's 16 hours from here, but that's like one day of driving. So it's a possibility. I don't know.
Definitely. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a good one for sure.
Yeah, that's the only one I know for sure that I will do this year. I loved Bad Apples last year, and I will definitely.
Definitely. I'll also be at the Endless Foot Drag as well.
What do you this foot
Sorry,
drag?
my dog's trying to get in the house. I will be at the Endless Foot Drag this year, also helping Sean Hayden put it on, and all the other guys, Damon and everybody. So
Yeah, I feel like the one in Georgia gets a lot of the people from Florida up there. So that's all the Florida crew are fun to fly with. So
oh yeah. Shane, Crazy Carl, George, all of them guys. You know, you got Aviator, and then Travis and Kyle Mooney. You know, everybody. Yeah. So far, it sounds like everybody's going to be there that I just named, and then some. So it's going to be a huge event. It's going to be a good time.
I might try to go there. When is that offhand? Do you know when Endless Foot Drag is?
Oh, Endless Foot Drag. That one will be in September, I believe. I don't know the exact dates, but it should be in September.
Okay, September is my anniversary, and we're finally going to be able to go on our cruise that we had to cancel or not be able to go on because of COVID and stuff. So this year we might be able to do it, and I think that's September. So
did they move Endless Foot Drag from earlier in the year to later in the year? I thought it used to be like May, June-ish.
Yeah.
That would
did.
be a question I'd have to ask Sean. I'm not really sure. Last year was my first year. I'm good buddies with Sean and went up there and helped him a little bit. And yeah, they've been trying to figure out this year, and they confirmed that they are putting it on still. So
Yeah,
Well, I saw
2018 it was in the
though.
spring, and then
Yeah, I saw
2019 they
Eric
switched
put
it to the
together that
fall.
really nice list of all the different fly-ins. So it's good. So people are, booking them on the same weekends.
if you go to flyindirectory.com, it does have the
Nice.
.com actually hosts it and keeps it up to date. If there's any of them that are not on there, just get up with PPG Zone, and they'll put it on there. So just go to flyindirectory.com, and it brings up all of them. Not only that, but remember, PPG Zone is the Facebook for paramotor people. And it also has an interactive map, pilot map. So you can see in your area all the people that are on PPG Zone that are pilots, and you can get up with them. So now you have more people to go fly with.
Yeah, endless
Yeah.
fishing, September 19th through the 25th.
Nice.
Jerry, question. Walter from Australia. G'day. How are you? Jerry.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Just wondering, have you got an older brother by the name of Will? I think he lives in North Carolina.
Sounds like you guys, are brothers or something.
No, unfortunately, all my brothers don't fly. They all think I'm crazy for doing what I do. So,
Hey, I got a question for all the people out. For all the people, how many people do you have family members that fly that you've convinced to go flying?
None.
Zero.
Nobody?
My little sister's a commercial pilot.
I got a family member that flies.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's right, husband and flyers.
I have a family member that flies, Robert Michaels.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah, we're related.
Linda, you got to go fly, and I'm saying who flies together with their siblings.
Oh, well.
It would take a weekend, Linda. You could be doing it. Robert could take you tandem.
Boy. That would be something. I'm sure I'd make the news.
Tighten my wing whenever she comes by, so we'll see how that works out.
What was that, John?
John Wayne, did somebody make that for you? Is that you back there behind you?
Oh, one of my grandkids. That's their flying around. That's the Jerry PPG guy. That's what they call him.
Geriatric PPG. Yep, you're the geriatric.
Cool. That's real cool.
Jerry's kids.
We're all your kids.
I'm not staying all night to give you money.
Hey, Colin, I definitely appreciate you jumping on and being our guest and hanging out with us. How you still have time to hang out with us, or do you need to go? I don't want to keep you on here if you got to go or anything.
Oh no, I'm good. It's 7:30 out here and not much going on.
Just degrade real fast after hours.
As long as we keep our clothes on, I think we're okay.
See, he fits right in.
This is going to
There you go. There you go.
Rated show to something else.
Have you guys been out to Salton Sea?
I have not yet, but I would love to. Anybody else going to be out to Salton Sea? Or have been?
No, every single year, my buddy Steve, the Blackhawk crew, they all go out there, and it looks like, they might get 1 out of 8 days or 6 days, whatever they're there for, of non-flying. But it's incredible, that Southern California weather. They just get beautiful, amazing weather to fly around that spot. So.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying that you don't get a lot of flying days at Salton Sea? Is that what you just said?
No, just the opposite. I think they get a lot of flying days.
Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Good flying days out there.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's crazy I can look at the forecast. There's not a time throughout the entire year where there's 4 days in a row to fly. And it seems like every year they go out there and it's just beautiful the whole time.
And because of that water, some of those days you're flying all day.
Yeah.
Which for inland is incredible, It's like beach flying.
I was going to say that it seems like the wind comes off of the water. Is that correct?
Yes. for sure. It's kind of like in a huge valley. There's some mountains on the far side from where everybody is camping out. And, so usually the wind is coming at you off of the water where they're having the fly in. So it's really nice.
I couldn't believe it when we were in Glamis a couple of years ago, how close we were to Salton Sea. Looking at the map afterwards, I wish we would have driven over there or flown over there, but we sure were close by.
Yeah, that's the trifecta, which is Salton Sea, Glamis, and then Arizona Flying Circus.
Yeah.
I still have a
bucket list
yet. Anybody gone to Flying Circus? Yeah. What do you think about it?
The Flying Circus is crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, I heard it was awesome, but haven't been there yet. I know that they throw money out of an airplane, and that's about all I really know about it, other than it's crazy.
Yeah,
hey,
I would give the
one,
Flying
would
Circus.
it be?
What's that? I'm sorry?
They have a gun range. They were, just shooting everything from machine guns, a 50 cal. I mean, it's insane. And it's beautiful scenery to do across country. I actually went there and cross country to a mountain that still had snow on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then ran out of fuel on the way back. Had somebody come pick me up in a 4-wheeler. Actually, they just brought me fuel. But everywhere around there for miles, it seems like it's a giant gun range. So like where I landed out with fuel, there's like 5 people shooting guns. And I'm like, I hope this is cool when I'm landing here.
Hey, if you only had to pick one, which one would you pick? If you could only pick one.
Of the 3, I like Salton Sea just because the amount of time you get to fly.
Wow. Like all day type of thing? Is that what you're saying? Like from sun up to sundown or what?
On the right days. Yeah. But it's not one of those ones where, you're only going to get a 2-hour window in the morning and a couple hour window in the evening. Even endless foot drag, we had days of rain and horrible weather.
Yeah, from what Salton Sea looks like, you can go out and get into those washes and those beautiful, like just those pastel sky, like gorgeous desert areas. I'm from the Midwest, so anytime get to fly in that area. But it looks like a lot of different regions that you can fly, long cross countries and then short exploration flights around there. It's kind of awesome.
And for you guys, when you're going, take a slightly north route and you'll come through Taos. You'll get to see the Rio Grande, the giant gorge that's here. And, it gets kind of crazy because we have the gorge is 5 miles from the LZ. And on the other direction is a 13,000 foot mountain. So you get this incredible variety of flying. So I'm officially inviting you all.
Nice.
Anytime.
That sounds good. I want to be able to fly in more states that I've flown in so far. I need to build up my states and fly more states for sure, and more countries eventually.
Well, there's one place. If you launch from Clayton, New Mexico, and you can fly in this northeast direction, you go immediately into Texas and then to Colorado and then Oklahoma and Kansas in one 90-mile flight.
Wow, that is awesome.
5 states. Yeah. I'll film it because I'm planning on it.
It looks like somebody said in our chat here, can someone ask if others in the chat, like Tony and Angela, are going to Bad Apples? Yeah, real quick, who's all going to Bad Apples? I know I'm going to Bad Apples. Anybody else in the chat, Bad Apples? Let us know if you're going to be going.
I wish I could.
Same. I got to roll, you guys. Good night.
All right, have a good one, Mark. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Good night, Mark.
All right.
Good night.
Have a good one. See you guys soon.
Awesome. And we're dropping out like flies. Speaking about dropping out like flies, if you love the show, give us a thumbs up. We definitely appreciate that.
I'll make sure I hit it.
So anything else that we want to chat about? I mean, I know that we can sit here and talk for hours upon hours, and I know that other people have things that they need to do, loved ones to go hug on and squeeze, and pets to pet and walk and wind down and have that glass of wine to chill out. If you need, oh, look at Jerry Fly's big puppy dog nose. I see your big dog.
Yeah, if you're at Bad Apples, you'll see him running around playing.
That's awesome.
Hey, Colin, just asking your background. Do you like cars, do you?
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't? And motorcycles. My dad was into all kinds of cars when I was a kid. I spent a lot of time on drag strips and circle tracks, dirt tracks. And, you know, my dad was out there messing around in Hollywood. He knew John Wayne, Steve McQueen. God, who's the guy that made the Cobra?
I don't know, but remember, we got John Wayne in the house right now. John Wayne!
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Carol.
Yeah, I'm talking about, you know, that ugly John Wayne that was on TV, not this handsome one, you know.
Not the handsome one that's on our panel. I know.
Exactly.
Yes, names there, Colin. Carol Shelby is what you meant.
Yes, Carol Shelby.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting man. I only saw the movie a little while ago, Ferrari and Ford, and yeah, the stuff they done in there for the GD40 back in the day. I drag race too, and I had a Boss 302. So yeah, great engine. Windsor with the Cleveland heads. Forward.
Yeah, I like them. I like them in the 185 to 200 cc now. It's a simple life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to jump off.
All right.
I got some puppies to feed. I'll have to show you real quick. I know my video is lagging, so you'll have to give it a second for her to show up.
Yeah, we definitely need to see Puppy. I guess now it's time to find your animals. Let's show our animals on here real quick. We're gonna be leaving here in about 5 minutes or so. So grab your animals, show your animals, and if it's your kids, hey, kids are.
All I can show is my koala bears. That's it. That's it. That's all I got.
Good on you, Linda.
Hi, Sigga. Yeah, all I can show is my koalas. That's it.
This is
a puppy. Look at the puppy.
This is bring your puppies to podcast day.
That sounded funny.
Yeah, but they're never far away. They're always right next to you.
This is Lois Lane.
Lois Lane?
Yes.
Lois
Clark Kent's on the floor over here. He weighs way too much to lift up.
I got a beagle that's like over 50 pounds. He's hard to pick up. Want to say hi to everybody, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
I'll give him a shot though.
Oh no! You knocked over the microphone. What is that? Are these all your...
Colin.
There you go, bud.
I'm surprised he's not like snorting.
So cute. Oh my God. Look at all the puppies.
All of our puppies and
I'm in doggy land.
Walter, do they have puppies in Australia?
they're upside down.
Mine's getting too big to pick.
I'm sorry. That just sounds really funny.
They have wallabies there.
Remember, I got
puppies in Australia with us?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hop off here. It's good chatting with all y'all. I'll definitely be in on more of these. I enjoyed it.
Wait, where are you going, Jer? You're leaving
Got
us
gym
already?
in the morning, 4:30, so got to get up.
Oh, yeah, you need your beauty sleep.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, y'all
All right,
take
dude,
care.
thanks.
See all y'all soon.
Bye, buddy.
Later.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Well, I want to thank you guys for having me. I had a great
Thank
time.
you.
Had a blast, and thank you so much for telling us about that. And like I said, all of his information, all of Colin's information is down below. His YouTube, Facebook, the Rio Grande Air movie that's on IMDB. You can watch it for free, which is really cool. It's about an hour long. Definitely suggest that you watch it. It's absolutely amazing. The visuals are incredible. The story is amazing, and it's just really awesome. And Colin, thank you so much for joining us and hanging out with us for almost 2 hours on the podcast show here. And you're more than welcome to jump on anytime and be part of the panel if you just have nothing to do on Monday nights.
Exactly.
Not a good flying night. Jump on and hang with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'll find you, Colin. I know where to find you now. So there you go.
You can plan on
Hey,
it.
it's Monday. Come on.
Thank you, Colin.
Have a good night.
I've got one question for Colin, quick.
Okay.
I've got one question for Colin.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, are you going to be starting some type of podcast or something?
I went to school for media, and I'm a little distracted. I seem like I just want to sometimes be more of a doer than filming it or talking about it, So, but I am hoping to do something, and it might end up being political.
Okay.
But I'll definitely jump back on your panel, and I had a great time, and we'll see you in a coming week.
Awesome.
All right. Cool. Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Be safe, Colin. Thank you so much.
Good
Thank you.
night.
All right.
What a wonderful podcast. Colin is such an amazing guy. And like I said, all of his links are down below. So make sure you say hi to him on Facebook and subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have some really cool stuff coming up.
This was super fun.
Always have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. Just hang out, talk to paramotors, and just enjoy yourselves. I really like that your logo, John Wayne. That really is cool.
Yeah, one of my grand.
I know. I'm impressed. Can he like make me one? I can just pull the card. I can just hang it on on the wall somewhere behind me and just.
We got to teach you how to do a background, a virtual background.
Because I have that antique computer, which I love. I have to talk to it because it's
Well,
been very good to
you
me.
can use your cell phone and log into Zoom, and that way it's an up-to-date one.
Oh,
John Wayne fly smooth.
I like this better.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So what's up with you, John Wayne?
Nothing much. Still working on this raggedy house, waiting on stuff. It's hard to get construction materials.
Oh, I bet.
I bet.
You said you've been able to go out and fly?
Oh, I've been flying. Yeah, I didn't fly today. It was real windy, but yesterday was great. I flew about 4 hours yesterday.
That's cool. Good for
Dang,
you.
is that even legal?
You go, cowboy.
Gee, 4 hours in one day.
Every time I see you, your beard keeps getting bigger, cowboy.
Yeah. When I take a shower, I'll shave.
He goes, I threw my razor away. It's gone. Forget about it. There you go.
So Jerry's
Oh, Lord. Just when you thought it was safe.
Yeah, just when he thought it was safe.
Oh, my God. It's Woody in the house. Woody, you're late. It's late.
His name
Jerry's 21.
Jerry's 21 plus, so I'm not sure.
I know. He'll have to explain that.
What kind of Zoom meetings do you normally go to, bud? I think he's still trying to log in.
Are we on the after show?
It's still streaming, but it's the after show. We're probably going to chat for another 10 minutes or so and kill the stream and go to bed and hang out with our significant others and our pet.
Yeah, you better talk quick, Woody. Make it quick, because
We just found out that our fifth wheel should be finished tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So we'll be able to go down to Indiana and pick that stupid thing up.
Good.
That's good news.
Yeah, sure is.
It's good, well, it's good news, but when you buy a brand new fifth wheel and it spends half of its life back at the manufacturer.
Yep. You're almost better off to buy the older ones anymore,
That is true.
I think I've been there, done that, my years on the rodeo trail. So, yeah, I bought all kinds of different things, and that's the thing with the fifth wheels or the buses, I call them, or whatever. They're all maintenance.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's just I loved our toy hauler, but at the back in the day the toy hauler was great, but then all of a sudden things start breaking.
I think Jim was waving his hand. Were you waving at somebody or wanting to say something?
Yeah,
Jim?
I was just gonna say goodbye.
Oh, you gotta we're jumping out of here in about 5 minutes or so. So we appreciate you jumping on and hanging.
Jim.
You guys have a great evening.
Anybody have any things that you want printed up? Make sure you get up with Jim at carepp.com and watch his crazy shenanigans at careppg.com. And thank you, buddy, for helping us out with all those Paramotor calendars. We're going to be doing some more Paramotor calendars this year. So stay tuned. We'll get you that information where you have your coolest Paramotor pictures, and then we make a calendar and we start giving away to people, which is always fun.
Have a good night.
Hey, bud. Have a good one. And now we're down to 7, 8 people.
The hardcore people.
Yeah.
Hardcore people. Oh, flying 4 hours. I mean, you flew 4 hours yesterday. I flew about 3 hours or so yesterday. I'm wore out from flying for 3 hours. It's amazing how quickly you get wore out by pulling the lines and having your arms up like this. And it was just a couple of touches and goes, and that was just two flights. It'll wear you out. Does it wear you guys out, Jade and Eric, as far as like when you're doing your trike? Do you stow your brakes and just, fly and enjoy your time? Or do you have your arms up and do stuff? And are you wore out after a 2-hour flight? I know
I will just stow my brakes probably 30 feet off the ground and just continue to climb. But I'm doing it for safety reasons, like so my fingers don't fall off.
I don't wear gloves.
And she don't wear gloves. So, but yeah, but we have a little bit of weight shift, not a lot. So but I do my trimmer. So I fly a straight, flight, but then I'll just lean, and fly around a little bit like that. If it gets a little wonky, then, I'll have my brakes in my hand, but
Sounds good, but you don't get sore or anything when you land after a couple hour flight of trike. You're not sore. You can stand up and walk around. Your legs don't wear out and lose blood. Mine.
No, that's the good thing about trikes is you can really relax. I mean, it's like sitting in your lounge chair. But, like I've said to a few people, flying the foot launch is like flying a Lotus. Flying the trike that Jade and I fly, that's kind of like flying like a Continental. And then flying that Zenith trike with that wing and me being so underweight is like flying a slug. I mean, that thing is just, it is. It's getting some used to, but yeah, I mean, now seeing the differences and things, man, being at the 90% on a wing is where it's at. So.
Yeah, if you're flying that by yourself, you're underloaded. That Cyclone should fly like a Luna too, and the Dual, which is the other BGD, should fly like a Magic. It's more of an A-wing for two people.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I had a refrigerator I could stick in the front seat, that would be awesome.
They got those little.
All you need is a dog like this big right here.
Exactly.
That's all you need.
Yeah, so I got, once we get done with, so our instructor that's doing it said, take the trike, go up, take some flights, and then come back down, and we're going to now do the weight shift for my front carabiners and set a passenger in there. And then you have to take your crash test dummy and fly with her. And once I do that, then I'll go back down and we'll do our 12 flights with our instructor and then the rest of our training, and then we'll be done.
Wow.
And then you'll be able to give me a ride.
Then what?
Then you'll be able to give me a ride.
You got it. You got wheels. Your feet. You're set. It's like those people that wear cowboy hats that I want to take up into the sky.
Oh,
and she keeps trying to totally avoid the question and answer. And Linda, Torch Lake is the weekend. Yes. The Torch Lake is the weekend right after Bad Apples.
Okay.
So you can go to Bad Apples and then you can go to your thing.
Yep.
I'm excited. I mean, I think it's like maybe like 45 minutes to an hour away from me. But you saw the picture because my son and his girlfriend, we headed to Traverse City, do our stuff or whatever. We take a little road trip once a month to Traverse City because it's a few hours, out there or whatever. But I said we got to stop at the airport and take a picture. So that's what we did. And we're the three of us. So far so good. We're gonna head out there on Saturday. So I don't know.
Yeah, that definitely is a beautiful area for anybody that can make it up there to fly. It is just unbelievable. It is really nice. I mean, there again, there's not a lot of outs. We're so far north that, there's trees. So you have to pick your route carefully, and that's going to be the same thing here in Wisconsin. You have to pick your route carefully, but once you're up, you can kind of see where you're going to go. But it's just the beauty is unreal.
Well, I'll be wearing my cowboy hat so y'all can find me.
I think I would be able to recognize you.
Because I think I'm going to stand out like, oh, there she is. That's Lindy with the cowboy hat.
You're going to be the one in a harness being put into the front of the trike.
Yeah, you're going to be flying. We'll be able to see a flying Linda.
And my son's girlfriend, she said that she was going to, she would take like videos and stuff. So, I'm excited to actually meet everybody in person, especially my peeps right here.
We're going to hook a GoPro up to you, a 360, so we'll be able to see everything. And when you're like, we'll be able to see that and everything.
I know.
That's the one thing with that wing and that trike. It is so much smoother than like what we fly. As I said, it's kind of like flying a slug. Everything is so slow motion. The liftoff is slow motion, but it's there. You know, there's so much power. I still don't know what full throttle feels like.
Oh my! And what kind of motor did you say they have?
That's the Cosmos 300.
Oh, the 300.
So, I mean, the power is there. I just haven't had to use it. But I mean, just the landings are smooth. The takeoffs are smooth. The flight is just, you don't feel the turbulence like you do in a smaller unit.
Mhm.
And that's what is just so different.
What size wing is it?
That's the 38 Cyclone.
38. Wow.
So it has like a 995 pound max on it. So it definitely has some capacity there. And that's the small wing.
I want one.
But no, it is pretty different, I'll say. I still like foot launch because that you can zip around.
3 times the size of the ultralight regulation. It's crazy, ain't it?
But there's an ultralight regulation for the size of the wing.
For the maximum weight of the ultralight vehicle, he can haul 3 times.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that means you can bring, I mean, 2 big guys could easily fly around on this thing.
Mhm.
So, but it's weird because I mean, they have a 38 and I think it's a 42, and both of them, their max is the same. It's just the lower end number raises up. So it's just kind of crazy on how they do their numbering or their ratings on that.
Interesting.
Probably got something to do with the lines, I would imagine.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, Eric.
Yeah, that thing is very nice. You know, and I did have a lot of people when we
Did we lose him or did I lose internet connection?
No, you're still here.
Oh, okay.
were jumping through hoops. Travis said that I'm going to buy the parts and I will have them shipped up to you. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not a warranty thing. And I questioned it and he goes, no, I'll just buy the parts. Well, we were talking close to, I would say close to $1,000 in parts. And I told him, no, I know what it's like. You don't want to lose money. And I told him, we will fix it. And all I did is where there was scratches on the frame, I have, with the vinyl, company that we have, we went and I matched up all the vinyl to the colors. You can't even tell that there was scratches there. And it looks like they're protective covers that'll protect the frame from maybe a cable or something. So, I mean, we were able to fix it up and I'm perfectly good with it. I'm happy with it. Text him about some other small things that I had questions on and he answers them right away. So, I mean, it's a A1 for One Up Adventures, that sold the trike or the trike. So I was very happy with them.
Good.
But the quality of that, of those units, the, what is that, Fly
product.
Yeah, Fly product?
Mhm.
No. Who makes that? Drawing a blank. Anyways, those units are very well built.
Fly product.
Yeah.
Fly products.
Huh?
Fly products, right? Flash
Yeah.
cruiser or
Yep.
yeah. And that BGD wing is
Yeah.
beautiful. What color is it?
I was told it was called Tropical, and I didn't know anything We pulled out, the first time we pulled out the wing is after we got the trike and we were at the airport, because I didn't pull it out before that. So, but it's a pretty wing. That part of it is nice. We're very happy with it.
What did it cost you, Eric? The wing?
Yes.
What was the cost on the wing?
I think we're losing internet connection.
I think so.
I think it's close to 4,500 or so.
Oh, is it?
Wow.
Oh, I think we're watching Flying Flamingo take off with it. Is that what we're looking at, Jade?
Yeah. That was
him.
That was the first flight, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking awesome.
They need to put pictures. They need to put the colors on the bottom of the wings. I don't care if the helicopter pilots see me. I want to see it from down below.
Yeah. You've got a point. But that's only another, what,
There's
$1,500?
an easy way to fix that. Just get it inverted.
What was that, Nick?
Get inverted.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
All you got to do is a couple of barrel rolls. We'll all be able to see you.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Well, at least you didn't buy a wing telling that you didn't care what color it was when you got it. It was passion pink. All right?
Exactly.
Well, that's what I got.
Well, at least you can see it better, when you're up there. I think that having reflective, something reflective on the top is probably good. That way, if there is an airplane or something, they can see our wing a lot better,
Yeah.
Reflective stuff.
Spring colors. He's like ready for Easter.
And leashes and stuff.
Yeah.
Anything reflective on my wing, I would greatly appreciate.
Right.
Oh, David,
I would like to find out what they are using for those. Who is that company that's making, what is that, Wild Wings, or making the logos?
I don't know.
Wicked.
Yeah, Wicked Wings.
Wicked
Wing
Wicked
logos.
logo.
Right.
I would like to know the material that they're using on that.
Tony Lozano asked, what was the max weight of your wing again?
I think it's like 990 pounds. I'd have to do the math again. But I
Wow.
did it once, and it was amazing, the amount that thing will hold.
Walter was asking what you paid for the wing.
I don't remember.
Okay. No, it's just I've looked it up, and yes, the 42 will suit the weight of my aircraft. So, does that have riser adjustment and all that?
Yeah, it has. So it has man, I'm just drawing blanks today. You do have tip steering. You do have your brake toggles. You do have your trimmers. So it does have all of that. And the second flight, I let the trimmers all the way out and let that thing speed up, and it's quick.
46 miles an hour. Right?
Yeah, she said 46 miles an hour I was going.
Wow.
Is that airspeed or ground speed?
That would be ground speed on what she was reading.
I wonder how fast that would be with about 600 pounds on it. My Lord.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And it was light winds that day. So now she was reading this off of a
Driving app.
a driving app. Now I think it's pretty accurate because it's reading my GPS where my phone is. And it might have been when I dropped my phone that she was reading that number. So, but no, it was definitely, it was going.
I think your internet's dropping in and out, Eric. We hear pieces and parts of you. And now you're frozen. All right. Well, how is it? How is it tomorrow in Upside Down, Walter?
It's cooling down, so for you, I suppose I'll send you some warmth. You're coming into summer now, so
Yeah.
Spring, first day.
Means
Yeah.
tornado.
What's that, John?
I said that means tornado for us.
Tornadoes, yeah. Ghetto tornadoes. Well, I tell you what, if you guys want to chat for a little bit, let's go ahead and kill the live streams. We'll chat for a minute or so and say goodnight. Does that sound good, guys?
Sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
So we have Walter from Australia on here. We thank you very much for jumping on and hanging out with us on the after show. We also got Nick that's hung out with us. Appreciate you, buddy. John Wayne's jumped on and hung out with us. Flying Flamingo Jade, she's helped us out today with our guest, Colin Hubbard, and we definitely appreciate you. You got a show coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. Your husband's on Tuesday and you're on Wednesday. Unless you're frozen and can't say anything, which I think you're frozen because it looks like you're frozen. Yep, you're frozen. So on tomorrow is PPG Lear, LEAR.com. There's going to be a podcast at 7 p.m. And then on Wednesday is an all-girl podcast with ParamotorGirl.com. We got Linda, Paramom USA, and her son does a podcast on Thursday. Tell us about that.
Paraglidingtalk.com on Thursday night. Y'all come out, hang out in the chat room. Love to have you there. We always have a great time. And yeah, Thursday nights rock. There you go.
Thursday nights rock. And we also got Will Fly from willflyppg.com. What's up?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for hanging out with us and helping us tonight with our guest. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how we can watch your crazy shenanigans and your awesome videos.
Yeah, you can find me at willflyppg.com or just type in willfly on YouTube. You can also find me on tomorrow night's Hangout show, Tuesday nights.
Awesome. Hangouts. Well, guys, definitely appreciate you all for listening to PPG Grandpa's Paramotor podcast on your favorite podcasting app, including Amazon Music, Audible, and you can even go to Amazon.com, search for us, and you'll see our podcast. Amazing. And watching us every Monday night on clearproptv.com. And listening to us on our own little thing that we have, paratalk.org, if you just want to listen to us. Thank you so much. We love you guys. Talking about paramotors, and I just can't wait till next Monday because this is great. Who do we have for next Monday, Linda?
We have James Sutherland.
No.
The awesomest. Yeah. Charlie Soap Guy.
Good
Be
deal.
a good one.
Hopefully we can get some Charlie Soaps.
I'm super excited. Super, duper.
Me too. And thank you guys very much. You guys here on the panel don't go anywhere. We're just going to be cutting the live stream and the audio, and we'll chat a little bit privately. If you guys want to chat privately with us, I'll drop our link in the chat one more time. All you got to do is click that link, and it'll open up your Zoom. You can hang out with us for a couple of minutes. And not being recorded and not being live streamed, because some people don't. I don't mind. That's why I got the show. All right, y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at PPG Lear, at Paramotor, and on Thursday at paraglidingtalk.com.
That's right.
Good night.
Peace out, everybody.